Welcome back. It's exactly 1 minute after 9 o'clock, and a reminder that this hour of News and Views is sponsored by African Muslims Agency. African Muslims Agency, a beacon of hope to communities for over 35 years in Africa and beyond. We now cross over to Wits, and we are going to be talking to Feziwe Ndwayana. She is an unregistered students representative, and we're going to be talking about the hunger strike that is undergoing its second day at Wits University. Feziwe, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the program. We do understand that hundreds of returning students at Wits University have gone on a hunger strike until they are all registered. What exactly is the story, and how resolute are the students that they're going to hold out and fast or carry on with this hunger strike for as long as possible?
Thank you, Julie, for having me. Thank you to the listeners for tuning in. First, I'd like to make the disclaimer. I'm not in my normal energetic level.
I can see that.
Because we haven't eaten since Friday, so please excuse me if I talk slow. So we are resolute that we will not eat until all unregistered students are registered. This comes after we had decided, out of our frustration as unregistered students, that we will fight against the financial exclusion that occurs in our institution. Our bone of contention is that it's been 10 years since the Fees Must Fall movement, and basically nothing has changed. Instead, in institutions like Wits University, things have worsened. But further to that, the institution has put poor students in a very humiliating and a process that strips students of their dignity, in which they have to parade their poverty, going office to office, begging for funding. Once they've applied for that funding, they only get rejected. And so we are saying to the institution that they must register all students. We don't want to get into the details of where the money will come from. But all we know is that Wits University is a public institution, and if it needs assistance, then it must go to government like all other public institutions. But I do want to state that it isn't hundreds of us that are on a hunger strike. It's just a group of students that are on a hunger strike. However, we do have support from academics. We have support from PSC. We have support from the Progressive Youth Alliance. There are churches that came out and support with us, because when we started this journey, we started on Thursday the 13th, and we had a non-denominational prayer. So churches came out to their support, but most importantly, right now, we also have the support of the Student Representative Council.
So, Feziwe, we've tried to get hold of Sharona Patel to give Wits University the right of reply as well. We haven't managed to get hold of her yet, but we have heard that on another platform she's indicated that over the past 10 years, Wits University has made great strides because they have made 1 billion rands available in funding. Would you agree to that? And would you concur that Wits University themselves are doing their level best to accommodate as many students as they possibly can, that there isn't a bottomless pot to be able to support, a whole host of students, because one of the contentious issues is that student loans are not being repaid. Now, those students who do qualify, move on and find work, if they start perhaps repaying their loans, we might not have found ourselves in this situation. Your thoughts?
Well, Julie, I don't know what Sharona was talking about there. because when we do benchmarking and compare with other institutions, Wits University is not doing as well as it should. In fact, it's not providing the necessary support. One would say that, in fact, there is some form of sabotage insofar as ensuring that the Black African poor students actually have access to education. But further to that, at Wits, they have this thing that they like, which is a case-by-case identification of students. And usually those types of ways of addressing funding for students usually lead to, discrimination or targeting. For instance, if they see a student activist on the list, they can decide to delay, funding them. That has happened in the past, but we'll not go into that now. And we are against that. What we're saying is that the institution must get into conversations with government if it has to. But we do know that there are students that apply, for instance, what we call the hardship fund. And even though they qualify, they've gotten rejected in their numbers. Every other day, we have students that are asking, why are we getting rejected for the hardship fund? And it goes back to what I was just stating now, but the case-by-case response to the applications, but also goes back to it takes me rather to the fact that most of the funding that the university raises, it doesn't finish. They all finish it because they reject some students. And our point is that all returning students must be funded. I also want to stay away from the debate about the loans and so on. Of course, I will mention that there has been a crisis, for instance, with NSFAS, and that has been an issue with government in how they reorganized NSFAS, and that has impacted students. But that is not what we are talking about. We are ordinary students. And all we want is for poor African students to be registered now. We are saying that Wits, through the hardship fund, gives students 50,000 Rand. And after that, they have to top up that amount in order to be able to register. Now, question is, how does a poor student that applies for hardship fund go and look for funding elsewhere when they've already proven that they are poor? Even the SRC fund does not cover our fees, which is 60,000 Rand. It's not enough to cover our fees. So we're saying that we are tired of the fact that we have been fighting for free education well before the fees must fall movement. But after the fees must fall movement, we remain in the same spot. In fact, not even in the same spot. It's even more difficult than it was before the fees must fall movement.
Let's wrap up then and ask the all-important question. If Wits University digs in its heels and say that already earlier this year we've cleared students, we've had cleared students' debt amounting to 63 million rands, and this is for 800 students. And clearly, 800 is really a drop in the ocean. There are way more students that need the assistance, but this is the press statement that they have put out, and they say we just don't have the resources to fund any more students. We need to keep a little back in the kitty for whatever reason, whatever emergencies they deem fit. And there's just nothing else or nothing more we can do. What happens to you and your colleagues that are on this fast? How long are you going to still hold out? And if there's no breakthrough whatsoever, what is the next step going forward as far as the students are concerned?
Like I said, Julie, we are resolute. We won't eat. We won't eat until all unregistered students are registered. And I want to emphasize that Wits University is a public institution. And when it's a public institution, it means that the government has a duty to play here, like every other public institution. We've seen the government bailing out SAA, bailing out ESCOM. It can also bail out Wits University. But further to that, we are also saying that institutions like Wits University, they focus on profit. So long as students cannot pay their own fees, they throw them out. And we are saying that institutions of higher learning shouldn't be profit-making machines. They shouldn't form part of what neoliberals are trying to do in our country and in the globe in general. So when they tell us that they've taken out 63 million rands, that is not our concern. Because they are a profit-making institution, we know that the money is there, and we know that there's the option of getting bailout from government. So if that would be the response, firstly, for an institution like Wits to boast about 63 million, it's a disgrace. But secondly, we know that through these mechanisms of government and so on, there can be solutions.
Okay, I can see just how exhausted you are. You don't have any energy simply because you haven't eaten since Friday. You're on a hunger strike. God watch all of you, and let's hope that we do come to a amicable agreement as far as this stalemate is concerned. Just in closing, are you a postgrad student, and what are you studying?
Grad student, master's in labor sociology.
Well done. Good luck and all the very best. We do pray for a very positive outcome both ways. Thank you indeed for talking to us, and do stay strong. We need to go now. Thank you so much for your time. It is exactly 13 after 9 o'clock.